Well, we've reached the knockout stages, not only of the Champions League, but of the Europa League and the Conference League as well, Craig Burley. And we've got a Champions League-esque tie in the Europa League with Barcelona against Napoli. So one of the big boys is going to get knocked out, but which one?
Yeah, I have to say, I would have to edge towards Napoli going through it because, we cover obviously here at ESPN the US rights to La Liga. Watch a lot of it. They've been, they got a late draw against Espanyol in the derby at the weekend when Luke de Jong came on. So they were a bit desperate in that game. They played really well against Atleti at the Camp Nou a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely demolished them. I thought, we talked about it. I thought, oh my God, that's more like it. Adama Traore made a great debut. Aubameyang came off the bench. Pedri was back fit and available. Gavi, Ferran Torres played through the middle. Frankie de Jong looked back to his old self. It just looked like kind of the old Barca, not Guardiola's 2011, not all conquering, but just a little more like it. I thought, wow, the page has turned here. Fans could sense it. And then it was kind of back to the old ways against Espanyol. It wasn't great. And so I think clearly there's a lot of work to be done there, Mark. There's a lot of convincing to be done. They're in a better position than they were, but it was a hell of a low bar. They're fighting for the top four. But if I was Napoli, with their experience and the players they've got, and Osimhen up front, who has been a real handful, young 23-year-old, and a poor Barca defence that looks fragile and has looked fragile. If I was the Italians over 2 games, if I did the basics right defensively, I think I'd fancy my chances. This is not a great Barca side. This is a Barca side that's trying to rebuild, and as I said, is pretty fragile.
For a team like Napoli, how difficult is it for their players to play the opposition rather than play the opposition's name and all it stands for?
Well, I think we've seen in Spain that teams are prepared to and understand that, particularly the smaller teams that have given Barca a game or a bloody nose, that they're looking at them in the tunnel and thinking, and okay, maybe it's changed a little bit in the last couple of weeks because they've had some reinforcements. But certainly earlier in the season, I remember a game at Mallorca where it was like 6 or 7 kids that you'd never heard of, and then a few experienced players. And so I think there is a realization that this is not the Barca team that's generally going to absolutely crush you, and you're hardly going to see the ball. That you have an opportunity, and I think obviously Napoli are in a title fight in Serie A. They've got hugely experienced players like Koulibaly at the back and Ruiz in midfield, who's excellent, and Insigne, who's obviously in his last season there before he comes over to play in Major League Soccer. So they've got a lot of experience in that side. Zielinski playing behind their front guy. But I think they're in better shape for this game, and there is a great chance that, and I think if you probably go to the bookies and say who's favourites, I would be surprised over the 2 games if it wasn't Napoli.
You mentioned earlier, Craig, about players coming back from injury for Barcelona. There's obviously still 1 or 2 out. Do you think Xavi has got an idea in his mind of his best 11? And if so, how far away do you think he is from that right now?
No, I do. I think he has at the moment. And that's probably what we saw against Atleti to an extent, which was Gavi playing further forward in the left of the 3 behind Torres and Traore. And then the midfield was Busquets, Pedri and Frankie de Jong. I don't think there's too many options beyond that would oust those players unless there was a poor run of form. Obviously, the one position in the front 3, you could be Aubameyang playing regular as a number 9 through the middle, or indeed replacing Gavi on the left-hand side, where he has played for Arsenal in the last couple of seasons, in the last 18 months, not particularly well. It has to be said. So yeah, he pretty much knows his best team, and that also includes a 38-year-old Dani Alves at right back, which is amazing because against Atleti, he probably had one of his best games in years. So yeah, the options are kind of limited slightly. There are some options, but I think he pretty much knows what his best 10 and 11 are when everybody's fit.
There's a fair bit of glamour in the other ties as well as this one involving Barcelona against Napoli. We see the two sides from Sevilla and Real Betis still in there. Betis under Pellegrini are going great guns in La Liga. Dortmund, again, depends on which day you get them. RB Leipzig. So are we looking at the kind of winner of this tournament coming from either Spain or Italy or Germany or maybe somewhere else?
I think so. You know, Betis are a great goal-scoring machine, as you know, under Pellegrini. Sevilla are a different animal. They've taken Martial in. They got a big win a few days ago to keep some pressure on Real Madrid at the top. They're more of a solid side rather than an all-out attacking side, so they're a little bit more balanced than Real Betis under Lopetegui. And I think, as you said, and I think you hit it there, it depends what day you get Dortmund. Is it the hello, we're a shambles at the back day, or is it, you know, we're going to do the basics and we're going to showcase our amazing attacking talents? And of course, if Erling Haaland's fit and available and he's had some injury problems, then that's always a huge bonus. But yeah, I could see it coming from one of these countries, and probably one of those teams mentioned. I'm sure there's a few other sides in there that are relatively strong and might upset the apple cart in any given day, but I think there's probably half a dozen teams that stand out from the others.
Finally, as someone that knows Scottish football well, having played there for many years, what chance do you give Rangers of a huge upset and turning over Dortmund, especially if Haaland's there, given that Rangers have had some really good, impressive European results in recent years?
Yeah, I mean, you'd know more about the Scottish game these days than me. You know, I don't really, haven't really been up to speed with it. I've watched bits and pieces. So, yeah, I think the changes, I think this season's been more difficult for Rangers. I think the transfer recruitment in the summer wasn't what Gerrard was hoping for. And I think partially that could have been one of the reasons why he decided he was going to make the jump to Aston Villa. That makes it, I think, a difficult job for Van Bronckhorst coming in to do. Dortmund is a big tie for them. I don't see them being embarrassed at all, not at all. I see them being competitive. And I do think they have a chance. I mean, I think in the current climate of the budgets of the Scottish teams, this would be a huge feather in the cap. Whether they have enough within that squad to do it remains to be seen. But as you know, you can catch Dortmund on a hell of a bad day, like Leverkusen did it recently. But with the Europa League, you're going to have to catch them in two really bad days. And I just don't think that will happen.
Some really good ties as the Europa League resumes after the winter break with the knockout stages, but probably the pick of the bunch is Barcelona against Napoli.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.